Hey man, you ever look in the flatter?
Okay, I cut and edited 3 days of observations. Try to speed this along as fast as I can for 3 days of observation. Some of these parts I sped up 2 times, a couple I sped up 3 times. I did uh, also bring some of the contrast up and brightness down in a few of the videos or a few pieces of the video just to bring out more highlight. Um, as you can see here, how this mirroring effect redirects your focus upward to where you don't see the bottom of the boat, but on a clear visible day, you would see the boat. And this is what I do. I do a lot of observations, and I do these observations under all different circumstances, all different conditions, weather conditions. And on this day, of course, you can see that, we got some clouding going on here, quite a bit of clouds actually. But as we speed along here, you can see how these boats appear to be floating. And on this particular day, you can see a little bit of water beyond this middle rack here. That's like the halfway marker to Bayport, except it isn't quite halfway. Here's a boat living on the edge. This guy's living on the edge. Uh, he's gonna teeter totter right off the end of the world here if he's not careful. Don't move back any further, buddy. You'll fall off the earth. And as you can see, waves blocking out the bottom of the boat. When you have these visible waves, the last resolvable wave is going to show you it's blocking out part of the lower hull of the boat. Even though this is a small boat, this is a good example. Big boats, you can see it too. You just got to look for it. Again, I'm going to speed this up, get over here to the Bayport rack. As you can see, it's a lower tide today, but anything beyond this visible water is just mirroring the sky beyond it. Like I said, it's like a ramping up, redirecting your eyesight upward on an upward pattern to where you lose the bottom information of the boat. So you no longer see the wake of the boat or anything because it's being hidden within that mirroring area. So that mirroring zone is anything beyond the visible water source or the visible water. As you can see here, there was Billy Steele's. This is the Hernando Beach rack, and I believe on this day you couldn't even see the Billy Steele's rack. It was completely drowned out by this redirection of your eyesight. In other words, this mirror, it's like looking at a mirror on an angle. Sometimes you look at a certain angle and you don't see what's below, or you're just redirecting your eyesight in a different direction. So you don't see the lower hull of the boat. And the way we can tell this is by visibility. The better the visibility, the more you can resolve the information above this visible water. A lot of people may disagree with me, but this is my opinion based on a lot of my observations that I have been making and also doing a lot of comparisons. I don't show a lot of comparisons, which I should, simply because of the fact that these comparisons show a big difference between the visibility and when you have this mirroring effect occurring, or even when you don't have the mirroring effect, there is some slight mirroring farther and farther out. the farther out you go to this visible water line, like on this particular day, my visibility was much, much better. Not only can you see the boats in the water, but you can actually see the water being splashed up from the boat. You can see its wakes. And this is something that, people just don't look at. The globe people just don't, they just totally deny it. They don't want to admit that this is not refraction pulling shit up from behind the curve. This is simply a case of good visibility. So again, the better visibility, the better you can resolve and get all the information at the convergence point where the sky converges on to the water. This is simply observable. You got to just go out and do a lot of observations, and then do some comparisons to where you can see these differences in these observations. It's not easy putting these down into a small video. Now, I recently put this footage out, I believe yesterday, simply because of the fact that, it showed how the visibility works. And, the better the visibility, the farther out you can see these boats. I have footage that even shows boats much further out in the water without losing the information. Again, this is all due to visibility. And you can also tell, even when you have good visibility, these boats can get blocked out by the visible waves, or that last visible wave. Now, this is, that was the Billy Steele's rack. I cut out a chunk just to show you this boat. And then what I did was I brought the brightness up or down, just to highlight more of the definition of the boat, which you'll see here. Also sped it up here, but that's okay. We'll slow it back down here when the boat gets near the Bayport rack. This is the Bayport rack, and you can see it's in good visibility. Yes, there is a little bit of distortion, but again, I've got footage where there was no distortion all the way out to this bird rack. And hopefully one day I'll put a bunch of my footage together and do another, do a big comparison video. It might be my last video that I do, only because of the fact that, we're just beating a dead horse here, because, there's other people out here doing low observations, low perspective, and they can see for miles and miles and miles, way farther than what science claims. Now, if these globe people want to believe that it is refraction pulling crap up from beyond the curve, they really need to wisen up. I mean, even look at this boat. You can see the whole back of the boat. You can see the bow of the boat. You can see the reflections even on the boat on some of the reflective areas, or it could actually even be water being splashed up. But obviously, you can see this boat in the water. Now, here's the North Bayport rack. The closer one was, they call it the Bayport entrance rack, to be exact. We just call it the Bayport rack because it's just simpler to call it the Bayport rack. But that's where you enter into the channel. This is the North rack, which is, I believe it's almost 8 miles out. It might be 8.4 miles out from Bayport. Me and Taboo put out a video, giving all the distances to these off of a site from Hernando County Utilities or Hernando County Waterways, that showed all the distances, or showed the coordinates where these were at, and he did all the math and found out that what the distances were to these. Now, if you look at this boat, which again I showed this footage yesterday, you can obviously see its rigs are out. You can still see the back of the boat. And obviously, this boat has not gone over the curvature of Earth. And from the height that I'm at, this boat should be well over the curvature of the boat. I mean, of the of the Earth. If there is a curve, which if is what they always tell you, that they know that this has been proven thousands and thousands of years ago by, a guy that measured the circumference of Earth with two sticks. One guy was looking down a well, and another guy was 500 miles away, and he figured it all out. Okay? If you want to believe that, you can go ahead and believe it, but I question it only because of the fact that thousands and thousands of years ago, science wasn't what it is today. Science today is basically a bunch of mathematics, mathematical garb. I'll put it to you that way. It's garbage. That's why they call it garb, because it's garbage. You just don't realize what us observers are seeing out here if you just go out and do one or two observations just to defend your globe. You're going about your observations all wrong. So again, I'm out here trying to give you good observations, show you that these mirroring effects do cause objects to be blocked off. Even the waves are blocking off the boat. And think about it. When it's in the mirroring zone, you don't get to see the waves, but those waves are what are cutting off the boat and makes them look like they're floating in the air. Yes, pigs do fly. As one for Critical Think, he was saying pigs don't fly or pigs fly, and he put on a video showing that the boats were above the visible water, calling that refraction. Yes, light is blocking you, but it's more than mirroring that's redirecting your eyes or your view on an upward angle, which causes you to lose the information at the bottom edge of the boat, the lower hull of the boat. And we can see this with a lot of footage, even when they put it out. Just think of the Pontchartrain video where it shows curvature, how the bridge is curving, but other people go out on a good visible day where there's good visibility, and you can see that bridge going straight as an arrow. So it's their way of deceiving their viewers into continuing their globe belief without real, honest observational proofs. These guys are cherry picking what they want, and a lot of the people just buy into it. They just, oh yeah, it's got to be right. It's like even these clouds, these shadows. Number one, you think that shadow's being projected onto the upper clouds? No, it's being projected forward. And this is something crazy. So I go back to this boat a little while later and find it again, and zoom in again, and again you can still see the back of the boat, but now you start to see these visible waves that are closer to me, these last resolvable waves blocking out the boat. So you start losing all that information in that distorted area just above the water. Now here I put some pictures on too from this day that I took. These first two aren't so good. That's the North Bayport rack. The next one's going to be the Bayport entrance rack. And then you're going to have a Billy Steele's rack. And then what I did was I zoomed back and I caught all three: Bill Watts, the Hernando Beach, and Billy Steele's all in one little picture here. Now, obviously, you can see, due to perspective, these are right where they should be. All right, this next part, I'm going to leave a little bit of the audio up and let you listen to what I say. A day like today might see a big bright rainbow behind me. Look at that shadow being casted way out there. Is there a shadow out there too? Yeah, look at there. Living on the edge. And yesterday there was more water behind that. At a lower perspective even. Today I'm under one of the pavilions compared to yesterday. Picnic table here. And I'm hoping to get a rainbow behind me. We'll find out. Wow. Now it's got the water looking so unlevel. And I got my camera level. There's a boat out there too. Compare this with yesterday. Oh, look at there. We got a floater. Oh, and he's even closer. Look at that. He's closer or be magnified with all the water molecules in here. And it's probably magnified. And it's the only boat I see out there at the moment. Again, what we're seeing here is the optical illusion of the boat being, the bottom end of the boat being lost due to this mirroring effect. Again, my opinion is that it's ramping up our vision or redirecting our vision on an upward angle due to that mirroring effect being out. Now, again, this mirroring effect occurs at all different distances. I've got footage where I'm up higher at a higher perspective, but that middle rack, that halfway rack, is actually floating way out beyond the visible water. And again, here's the Bayport rack. Obviously, you don't even see all the horizontal boards going across this rack. They are missing. And then, of course, you've got this distortion that just jumbles everything up and just compresses it all into one little spot. So again, use your own mind, use your own judgment, discern things for yourself. Make up your own mind. Don't let people deceive you, and then again, don't let people intimidate you by calling you unintelligent, stupid, and also don't let people tell you you're faking things either. If you know that you're not, don't worry about it. I mean, you can even see how this water is transitioning into the mirroring zone, and that is where everything is really causes this optical illusion. Again, thanks for watching. Appreciate all the new subs I've gotten.